What's happening? It's the Dirty South podcast, and we are back. Cabra, SC Wrestle. Here we are. Not really much last
Don't
week.
say
I
his
mean,
name 3 times.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Uh, we had the RAF happen last week. That was pretty cool watching that. We had some world championships going on. We had some Americans. I think one of the cool feat was we brought home hardware on the Greco side. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And then not much else, right? Just some local stuff happening.
Well, and I'll tell you, like RAF or RAF, one, it was a great card, but two, they've already started talking about Bassett versus Caldwell in the next card, and they're ramping up, which is pretty cool. We're gonna get to talk to Zach Sherman here in just a few minutes and talk about Claw as well. So a lot of things going, a lot of things happening, and um, this coming weekend the college wrestling, the opens and that sort of thing kick off, and we're going to see tons of wrestlers from all over the place. I don't know if you followed on Facebook, but I've been posting, like, I saw Anderson Heat versus Tyler McKnight and their inter squad up in at Davidson. I've seen those pictures of former high school kids competing, for their colleges, getting ready
Yeah.
to and everything
I
else.
know
So it's pretty
my
cool.
my son goes out to the Pointer Open this weekend, so I know they're getting
Ah,
started as well. I believe
there
that's
you
out in
go.
Wisconsin. So yeah,
But you
every
know what? It might be busy. It might be busy for them, but it's equally busy for all of us because Dan's running around South Florida taking pictures. Brand, I don't know how you're doing it, man. You're sending us stuff for today's show and everything else. How many have you gotten in? How, like, where do you stand with the preview stuff? Well, the one side of it is I know nothing that you guys have talked about in the past 5 minutes because I don't know what's going on in the world beyond my season preview. That is, I'm completely locked in. I think I'm close to 200. Hold on, I made a graphic. Yeah, I'm at 195 boys teams, 139 girls teams. Coaches have either confirmed returners or sent me a preseason form. I've talked to 66 head coaches. I'm with counting schedule. I'm gonna be close to 80 when I'm done. That's Um,
Wow.
awesome. it's so much fun. It
It-
adds so much work, but it's like, cutting it up and everything.
yeah,
But I get
I'm at
such a
Christopher Columbus today. Do you need Grant?
um. I haven't talked to him, but I did get a form from him.
Oh,
I
good
may
job,
even
Grant.
have I may even have a schedule from them.
Well, he was
No,
just texting me what time to show up.
no, I have heard from him. I haven't talked to him, but I did get information from him. No, it's going great. It's crazy. I can't believe that um high school season starts Monday. Girls start practice on Monday. Boys start practice a week from Monday. That's the day I'm trying to get my preview out. Um, every team, every capsule, everything. It's just all. Oh,
Everywhere.
It's just all I'm doing.
Yeah.
I understand. And looking at your graphic there, everybody is probably like hating on 1A, but the truth of the matter is that it has 147, but 1A is a 1A. Some of those schools might have, just a couple of kids, or maybe Yeah. they're not sure that they have the program up and running, or different things along those lines. But man, I'll tell you what, close to 60% for 3A is pretty doggone good. I gotta say, I think 77 of them. I have one or two districts, and maybe even more than three, where I have all but one coach has reached out. There's only one district where I've heard nothing from anybody in 1A7. Huh. That'll be a fun preview to write. Um, I've reached out to every coach multiple times. I've reached out to every individual coach that I have information on. I'll send one more email out next week. But yeah, I'm excited. It's just time. I just need time, more time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I'm in
don't
a
we all?
hotel room. I'm in a hotel room in Miami.
305.
A 305. What do they do? 305,
All right.
305.
So before we
Um,
welcome Zach Sherman on for today's conversation for an interview, I want to just give an idea of what we're doing. If you haven't been watching over the last few weeks, we have been reaching out to, or we've not been reaching out. I'm sorry. We have been.
You've been
We have been
reaching out to
talking about.
me for help.
I'm sorry.
I said you've been reaching out to me for help.
I have been reaching out to you
Yes,
for help. Um, but we
me
have been
too.
looking at teams that are outside the top 10 who we want to talk about. We feel like they're doing some really cool things. They're doing some good things. They may not get mentioned as much during the course of the season, although I think some of the teams today we're going to definitely mention during the course of the season. So, but we've done 1A, we've done 2A, we've done the girls, and today we have 3A. And I don't know. Just before we kind of get into it, well, welcome Zach, and then get into it. Was 3A hard in picking for you guys, or what?
I mean, I every region, every classification has had like a region where it's been a little tougher to pick a team. Um, I think 3A is the one. Well, it's the one I know the most. It was hard to trim down. I think in 3A, but there were
I
a
think
couple regions along the way where I was like struggling to find one that I felt comfortable talking about. But
uh,
uh,
I think what helped me was you, Brant, because if you go back to, I pulled all the final rankings for 3A through the state tournament, right?
yeah,
And then based on that, you look at teams that weren't in the top 10, but they were kind of knocking on the door. And then I would mention said team to you or teams, and you would say, well,
they
based on
graduated
my
eight
preview,
seniors. They graduated
this,
10
that,
seniors.
yeah. So I don't know, not knowing that information, just based on prior results, you think, oh, there's one that seems like a no brainer. But then talking to you after you do your
Well, and
reviews, you're like,
that's what makes
that's
his
not,
job so difficult is that
yeah.
I mean, like the changing landscape is, I mean, to keep up with it is crazy.
Yeah,
Right. So I think that's where because it's, it's to go look and say, okay, that team, that team, that team, that team. But like anything else,
I ruined it all.
no, it's perfect because I don't know, but you're the one that does a lot of the previews and you get to talk to all these coaches based on doing that. And you understand who's gone, who's stayed, who's going, um,
And a
but
lot of
yeah,
the
so
programs you meant, not, I would say most programs, if not all that you mentioned yesterday, are, I think, building something, but they're all probably taking a step back just because they're younger this year.
Yeah.
makes sense.
And those coaches have told me that. I would say two or three of those coaches
Right.
have specifically told me that. Yeah, we're back going back this year, but we're trying to build something, and even though we graduated 10 seniors, that kind of thing. So if
Well,
you're a
here,
coach in 3A and you've graduated 10 seniors from last year, you know who Dan wanted to pick you.
well, here's some guy that knows how to wrestle. He was okay.
What's up, guys?
Hey,
What's
Zach,
up,
how you
Zach?
been, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, first of all, just thank you guys for having me on and all you guys do for Florida and the southeast of the country, an area, that doesn't necessarily get the exposure that it should have for these kids and helping put them on the map. So
Well,
Awesome.
we
Thank you.
appreciate you jumping on, and
Coming on.
you're excited to hear about Claw and kind of what you're doing. But before we get to all that, what have you been kind of keeping yourself busy with? Besides outside of wrestling or outside of like competing.
Yeah, and
yeah,
quick
so
before you get into that, we saw our buddy Dante get well soon. He just had some surgery. How'd everything go there? Have you spoke to him since
yeah,
coming
I
out of the other
talked.
side of that?
Yeah. I talked to Dante last night. He said he's feeling really good post surgery. He's doing great. First of all, shout out Dante. Coaching with him the past couple years has been a really, really good time down in the Keys. One of my best friends growing up. He's more like family to me. And as he starts getting better, I know he's starting a fishing business, Isle style charters, and then trying to combine that with wrestling
Cool.
camps and training and stuff like that. So if you're ever
Awesome.
in the Keys,
Yeah, so
definitely.
shout out to him. I know you guys are tight and he's an awesome dude and get well soon. I saw him coming out of surgery. So sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject there real quick, but
No, no, no,
we can
no.
get into
That's great. That's great. Glad to hear that he's doing well and everything else. So Zach, before we get into different things, like what have you been keeping yourself busy with?
So right now, my heart is completely in coaching. I've been doing this thing called Sherman Select, pretty much every week, sometimes a couple times a week, where I'm basically trying to get together the best kids from South Florida all in one practice room. I have not been promoting it at all, but we've been filling the room with around 30 to 40 kids sometimes, multiple state champs, Fargo All-Americans and stuff like that, and getting these guys all kind of training together and kind of breaking the stigma of like, um, you know, whether the rivalries between this high school and that high school, the rivalries are great, but they need to be competing with each other. They need to train with each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's the experience that I had when I went up to New Jersey for high school, and trying to build that kind of collaborative environment with the kids, the coaches, and stuff like that. So I've been really busy with that, and then I'm also kind of working on starting my new club. Location to be determined, but we're looking into a facility, and hopefully I can get that information out there in the next few weeks.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome. Yeah, and
Very
I mean,
cool.
shout out to guys like you and Pat who are coming home and trying to bring that knowledge into the community. I see you and him do a lot of stuff together. Um, yeah, I know you guys got a camp coming up, but yeah, shout
November
out to you
24th
guys.
and 25th, Miami Hawks camp at Braddock High School in Miami.
Nice.
November
So
24th,
it's good to
25th.
see the college kids coming back home and trying to get that knowledge through.
Yeah, absolutely. And then trying to give them the exposure. We went all over the country. We had all these different coaches and that have such a wealth of experience, and to not share that with these kids would be a shame. So
Very cool.
Well, I'd start off, just tell us how you got involved in Claw, and as Jason wanted to really know, why would you do something where you still have to cut weight? But that might be his own. That might be some of his own trauma he wanted to know. But what was it about this that drew you in, and what is it like being out there and still being able to compete? And how do you go about still doing that competing stuff? Because I imagine it still involves cutting and those kind of things, which are not always fun.
yeah, of course. No, I mean, it's difficult. I guess I kind of backtrack a little bit to the way my career ended in college. I had a shoulder surgery, and then I came back too quick for my 6th year, and I wish I hadn't, but you live and you learn. I never really knew how to deal with surgeries. I'd never had any before. So, and then I re-injured my shoulder at the ACC championships my 6th year, and wasn't able to finish the season. Um, and then so that was never the end goal, was never college wrestling for me. Like I wanted to represent Israel at the 2024 Olympic Games, and I think, Dan, I talked to you about it right after
Yes.
surgery, maybe last time I was on your podcast, but that was always the goal, and I felt like that had been taken away from me. So just for me, the way to get through all that cutting weight and stuff, and yeah, I had to lose 8 pounds within an hour and a half before weigh-ins for
Look
Claude.
at Jason's eyes.
Well, I had to lose 6, but 8 pounds just fell off. I don't know how. But just being grateful for the opportunity to compete again and get through some training and get back in the rhythm of things has been awesome. When I went up to Super 32, I took some guys to UNC, and I was able to jump on the mat with the college team there. They got some young redshirt freshmen that are going to be pretty good for the Tar Heels this year. So that was cool to see. But yeah, it's something that I never really wanted to end. So I thought I had more in me as far as that competitive fire and stuff like that. And I get to showcase that a little bit on Claw, and then see if really returning to international competition is something that's in the cards for me still.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, look, we could just do this whole show with you because I've got so much that I want to talk to you about. But I know it's about Claw and what's going on right now. So talk about, I know you want to educate the community to try to get them kind of involved. I know we're going to see, I think tonight is when they showcase your duel. But
Yep.
can you explain kind of, not what Claw is, but I believe there's different scoring with it, and it's a duel, and
Oh,
there's
there's a
different
lot
type of
going
things that are going on, and maybe kind of a brief education so that we can understand what we're looking forward to. Like we've seen the RAF, and we
Yep.
see and kind of understand that, and now we've got another beautiful thing coming to wrestling at the Claw, and just trying to understand what that is about.
Yeah, so Claw, it's the CLAW, Champions League of American Wrestling. And it's a little bit of a different format, maybe slightly different product from what they're offering with RAF. I think it's great what they're doing with Raf. I think it's great what Claw is doing. I think they both, I hope they both succeed. It's going to be difficult, obviously, with wrestling, trying to grow that audience. That's always kind of been the issue. But so what Claw is trying to do is they put together 6 teams and they hired a general manager for each team. Shout out Angelo Ferrari. He's the general manager of the Leopards. Drafted me in the 8th round. So they went through a draft. 8 rounds of draft picks. Each team gets 1 pick each round. So there's 8 people on the roster. 7 people will compete in each dual meet. And so it's a professional league for wrestling, but it's more of a team format, if that makes sense. And where it's dual meet scoring. And so what they're streaming tonight, they streamed last night, the opening night, which featured guys like Zane Rutherford, Jonathan Milner, Matt Stencil, who is my roommate up there, heavyweight for Central Michigan, and just some really, really big names in the sport. A lot of guys that are assistant coaches or coaching in college. They're still training on the mat with their guys every day. So they're still in shape and ready to scrap. And what Claude did is they brought in a different rule set. So it's kind of a hybrid between freestyle and folk style. For example, on neutral, they have push-outs, but takedowns are more folk style, and top and bottom is folk style, except they added in another dimension to it. So there's a lot going on, but if you break it into rounds, right, it's a lot going on. Once you watch a couple matches, you kind of get the hang of things. The first round is 1:30 and it's neutral. The next 2 rounds are 1 minute, 1 minute. Each person has to go bottom one of those 2 rounds. And then the 3rd round, they do a coin flip and someone gets choice.
Yeah.
Or the 4th round, sorry. So if you win your round, you get a point, and whoever wins the most rounds wins the match.
So I'm going to stop you there, and I'm going to ask you the question. For you having freestyle background and folk style background and everything else, was it that big of an adjustment for you, or was it really like I could roll with it because it's wrestling?
So it definitely would have been a big adjustment, but actually, so when I went back to UNC for surgery, they were doing the Claw Invitational, a tournament to test the rules out. And some of my teammates at UNC actually wrestled in that. One of them, Georgia boy, Chip Ness, Keaton Clark, Florida boy, and then a couple others wrestled in that tournament. And I was only 3 weeks post surgery, but I was so bored, so I went up to coach them. So I was in there. I was throwing the challenge bricks, but at the same time learning the rules. So I had a pretty good background, having coached my teammates in Claw before.
Got it.
Make it an easy transition. And so that the strategy, a lot of it comes into the top bottom aspect of it. Whereas neutral, the strategy is more so similar to freestyle, in my opinion, just because of the push outs. And so if you watch me wrestle, that's what I'm going to look for. I'm going to look for push outs. And then that helps set up offense and stuff like that. Same thing I work on with my athletes once it comes to freestyle season.
Very cool. Very cool.
Brent, you have something?
Yeah, I was just looking at this, trying to learn a little bit about it. I've been in a self-imposed bubble. But it started last night. Your first duel is tonight. And then we go through and there's different things they have: championship week, battle week, super duel. How does someone watch this, and how what should they expect from the broadcast of it?
Good question. So to watch it, clawtotalaccess.com, and the Tuesday night duels will be streamed for free on there. So if you want to go on and get an idea of what it's like without paying, you can go and you can watch Hodge Trophy winner and 3-time NCAA champ Zane Rutherford compete against some tough competition. And you can go and watch that, and as well as the whole duel full of NCAA All-Americans on there, and kind of get a feel for the rule set. The broadcasting is very similar, in my opinion, to how like the broadcasting of a college dual meet. They have Shane Sparks commentating, Mike Mal doing interviews after, and it's the broadcast. I watched it last night. It seems like it flows very well, very similar to a college dual meet, which is awesome. And then the Wednesday night duels, You have to pay for Claw Total Access membership on clawtotalaccess.com, which is, I think, $24, and it covers everything for the whole season.
Right. Yeah.
So not too expensive. There's no monthly charges. It's just one-time fee of $24 to access that, as well as you can see results and pictures and video clips on the Claw_wrestling Instagram page.
Very cool.
Awesome. I know before I know we're going to get into some 3A stuff here, but I know your late father was very, very committed to Israel wrestling, and that
Yes,
was something that has always been near and dear to your heart. And I know that your focus right now is the transition into coaching, but you and I have had conversations, and before you kind of put your shoes into the middle of the mat, I know you want to do that one more time. Am I correct?
absolutely.
So we should see you next competing is that the next thing for you after this?
Yeah, so that's kind of and I talked to my coaches at UNC, Coach Ramos specifically. I talked to him about this, um, whether it's really in the cards for me or not. And that's what I'm using this claw thing for, is to see if I really, really want to get back into it, and not even so much looking for me to get like a positive result of like winning the match. Uh, it's more so to see if my heart is in it, because if to compete at the senior level, I believe you have to have a very, very open mind. You have to be 100% committed, and you do have to be a little bit selfish with your lifestyle. And um,
Mhm.
right now, my heart's been in coaching, so I'm trying to see if that's really something that my heart is in, competing again. And if I do, yeah, I'll be looking to compete for Israel in 2026 on the international stage.
Now, let's say it's coaching. Will Team Israel be something that you'll try to stay involved in for the rest of your life based on uh what I mean, obviously if nobody knows, his family was pretty deep into that program, but um maybe we see you coaching for them, or is it I'm either going to wrestle or not, and then I'm going to stick to what I'm doing here? Because obviously you could be coaching USA athletes, you could be coaching anybody you want at the level you're at.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself coaching. So I competed in the Maccabi Games in
Mhm.
Israel. It's basically the Jewish Olympics. I competed there in 2017, and I could see myself being a coach on the Team USA team, and helping that the experience for me as a senior in high school, before I got to college, getting to go over there and get back to my roots of Judaism, and see Jerusalem and the Western Wall, explore Tel Aviv, and have a bunch of teammates to do it with, and compete against the best athletes from Israel, which is actually how the citizenship process started for me. I beat the number one guy in Israel when I was in high school. So having that experience for those kids, I think, is something that I would love to be a part of, and get to go back to the motherland, and kind of show them what it's like out there.
That's awesome. Yeah, and
Yep.
it's so cool that you do that.
So
So
yeah, no, that would be fun. But I will say my heart, as far as coaching, is helping these kids from South Florida get the exposure and the experience they need to make it to the next level, but not only make it there, to be prepared to succeed when they get there. And that's what I'm doing. That's why I coach. I'm really, really excited to hopefully start my own thing very soon. Big things on the horizon, but we're gonna keep going. Shout out to my Sherman Select crew. We're going to keep grinding every weekend that there's not a tournament, a couple times during the week. Keep pushing forward, breaking those national rankings, getting on the podium at national tournaments, and that's what we're looking to do. Not just we're throwing out the rivalries in South Florida to train with each other, and create an environment that's going to help prepare us to compete at the national level.
Well,
It's
Zach,
awesome.
we really appreciate you jumping on, man. You got a lot going on, so it'll be interesting to see. I can't wait to kind of see your match tonight, and see how kind of the season plays out for you guys. I'm really interested in Claw. It's fast paced. If nobody's ever watched it before, man, there is. I watched Strickenberger versus someone last year, I think, and it was
Yeah.
just unbelievable how talented everybody is, and how quick it is, and everything else that's going on. It takes a few minutes to kind of get the hang of things as far as scoring goes. But like Zach said, I think once you watch it a couple times, you kind of get the hang of it, especially if you understand wrestling. I mean, you'll get the hang of it. Um, but man,
I'll be totally lost.
yeah, Dan's done, but we'll try to catch him up. Um, but you know what? Beyond that, man, we really we're excited to kind of see the next steps. I mean, we're all about growing the sport, and growing the sport down in Florida and all across the Southeast and everything else. And you guys, like Tan said, you and Pat and everybody else coming back and really kind of investing in the next crew is only makes it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's
So
great because you go to these tournaments now, we'll see it during the season and you'll see kids from all over that we watched wrestle here, went off to NAIA, NCAA, whatever division, and now they're back and they're assisting their head coach. And girls and boys, I see it doing my media days. I was just in a room where a young lady's back home and now she's assisting in the room. So it's really cool to see them come home and do that. But the level you and Pat are is obviously the top of the food chain. So to bring that stuff back, so
yeah,
Hey, and so one more thing
yeah,
for my Florida fans out here. It's not just me out there representing
that's right.
from Florida on the Leopards. Back-to-back weight classes, 145 pounds, Zach Sherman, 157 pounds. We have Shannon Hanna, Lake Gibson graduate, who's training at the Tar Heel Regional Training Center right now, wrestles for the Bahamas. We are back-to-back weight classes on the Leopards. And we also have a late pickup, Noah Castillo, to the team.
nice.
So he did not see any action yet in our regular season competition, but you may see him. He's a Lake Highland Prep graduate. You may see him compete at 170 pounds later on, depending on if we have an opening there. If we need him, we picked him up for a reason. And then you could see 3 Florida guys back-to-back weight classes on a professional league roster. So
That's all.
Very
And
cool.
three
Very cool.
great humans, man. Noah's
yep.
Shanahan put me on that them chicken wings out there in Lakeland. Yeah, I
Zach,
think they're called like solid gold or something. I forget, but
Solid gold.
yeah, it's this little hole in the wall
Ask.
place off of Ask him about the wings in Lakeland. Yep, it's called
well, not when he's trying to make weight, though. Not when you're trying
Nas,
to make weight.
Uncle Apps.
Zach, we appreciate
You
it, man.
know.
Thank you for jumping on,
Yes.
and best of luck this season. And you know what? We would love to catch back up with you after the season's done and talk about kind of the matches and everything else, and what the next maybe the spring and everything else looks like in the future. Is that cool?
That would be awesome. I appreciate everything you guys do, and thank you for having me on.
All right, take care.
My man.
Take care. Go
Good to see you,
Leopards.
buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
that
right.
was fun and exciting. He's such a good human.
He is, and you know what? For everybody, I kid you not. Like the man, it is some top really good wrestling, and I mean it's free. It's free on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Why wouldn't
Yep.
you, stream it and kind of watch some excellent wrestling going on? They have a YouTube page and everything else. So,
Yeah.
definitely,
And that was
something.
Zach Sherman, who made the 25 for 25 list by SE Wrestle.
All right. So
Let's not bring that up again. And
yeah,
also,
let's avoid that.
I didn't want to tell Zach, but in a couple of years, it's going to take him 3 months to lose 8 pounds. But it's cool that he did it in an hour.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
It's gonna
No
take
doubt.
3 months. Oh, for
all right,
sure.
so let's jump into 3A because we got about a half an hour left, and I want to make sure that we give these teams the recognition that they deserve. Like I said before, and if you haven't listened before to any of the other ones, these are not necessarily teams that we believe will be in the top 10. We pick teams outside the top 10. We are high on these teams because we think that they have a lot of they're doing some things the right way. They're whatever, and maybe we have some personal biases on some of the choices that we made. At least I
I do
do.
because people talk to me.
There you go. So
If I know about your team, I'm probably going to talk about you.
And Brant, let's start with
That's an
you
information
first.
bias, though, right? Because that's the ones I know about.
Absolutely. We're going to start with you, and let's actually start in Region 1 because that's how you gave us the document. So
All
we're
right.
just going to go straight down the document. Um, Brant,
Uh-oh.
you picked out of Region 1 a Ocoee.
Yes. District 4 champs the last 2 years. I just got a chance to talk to Rob Karbowski yesterday. His son Corey was on the call, so he's assistant coach there. He's a Philadelphia or Pennsylvania guy. I guess I don't know where in Pennsylvania. Came down here. Ocoee was a program. If you look at the years before they were there, they finished 9th, 10th in the district, and they they've won maybe one of the weaker districts if you look at what they've done at the state level, and so they're proud of that, but now they want to be on the level to compete in Metro in Orange County with the Timber Creeks and the Freedoms and beyond that. They've got a great group coming back. Silas Mateer, Tyler Duvamont, Mike Innocent are all back. Those are all region qualifiers and district finalists from last year. They've got transfers coming in. Raphael, I'm going to get this wrong. Tequestral from Windermere. He's a region qualifier, made a blood round last year, has been doing everything this summer. Jonathan McPherson came over from Olympia, another region qualifier. And so they've just put together a team that now has uh, like depth, and they'll be having wrestle offs at every weight, and they want to be able to compete on a duels level, and um, just really cool for a program that was down on its luck for a bit there,
Right.
and now have freshmen coming in and know how to wrestle, that kind of thing. It's a really cool story going on in Ocoee.
Well, and you know what? That's so I think of them very similar to my pick, which is Buchholz, except they might be a year or two behind Buchholz in that they're built the foundation, and Buchholz really has built the foundation. Billy Pankey's done such a great
Yes.
job at Buchholz. Um, I picked Buchholz. I wanted Buchholz. Actually, I think Brant picked both Buchholz and Ocoee, right? Is that who you picked?
Well, originally when I did these in my car when my daughter was driving to lacrosse practice, I picked Ocoee thinking they were in 5, and then remembered they were in 4. So
I
those were
got you.
both my Region 1 picks. But yeah, Buell
Yeah.
stuck out to me
So
because, like what you're saying, I mean, this is a program that's been building the size of the program.
yeah. Well, and Buchholz, you know, Billy Pankey, I mean, I think he's been there a long, long time now, but really year in, year out, they have solid kids. They graduated a few kids, but you know you've got a good program when you graduate kids like Vin Buchanan, but you bring back still Daryl Godbolt, you bring back Gabriel Brown, who was a state qualifier last year. And really for me, it's they bring back like the majority of their lineup, and they bring back like 8 kids who scored points at regions,
Yeah.
and scoring points at regions, if they can get those 8 kids, you know, to get to the blood round or get beyond the blood round, next thing you know, you've got a quite a contingent. What is Daniel doing?
I don't know.
um
I thought he was dancing.
Oh, I'm in a hotel room and I'm trying to find a better spot.
they have quite a
I'm
contingent
sorry.
of individuals. They are going to be really good as a dual team. They're going to be really good a as a traditional IBT team. But this is a team that really is built the foundation. They're going to be good moving forward. I really am high on Buchholz this year, and I think they're going to do exceptionally well. All right, Dan, did you
Boom.
make a choice? Did you choose between the two?
I took my man, Scotty Diaz,
Okay.
and the Haggerty Huskies.
Okay.
You know, they're always tough.
They
They
are.
always show up. He has always built a tremendous squad. You know, obviously Blake, Jesse, Wagamuth, Thomas. I mean, he's got a lot of kids. Crawley, Gutierrez, Commies. He's got some young kids coming up that fight hard. He's got 2 other great coaches in there with Ron, Jesse, and Jesse Hill and Clay Perry. That's 3. Sorry, my numbers were off. But I really think we're going to see, you know, fingers crossed. You know, we're hoping to see Nicholas Blake make make the state finals this year and get his opportunity to ride off into the sunset. But I just think they've always been knocking on the door, right, Brant? I mean, they've always been right there. But obviously, 3A, one is, well, 3A, one, two, three, and four are very tough. And, as we were talking about earlier, we saw kids with two losses on the year not make the state tournament in these different regions. So, but I like who he's got coming back. I like his young kids. I like the seniors to make a run, and I just think they got what it takes.
No doubt. They
What,
they
what,
Haggerty is a great
Yeah.
program. I mean, there's no doubt that is.
Consistently
I,
deep, consistently a
I
hard out.
I'm actually a little surprised they didn't finish top 10 last year.
I know. I just double checked to make sure he wasn't pulling one on us, but they were 14th.
Yeah, and the reason is that they got quite a few to the state tournament, but did not execute necessarily on that final weekend, not to the level that I think that they wanted to or expected to. But most of those kids come back. I mean, and that's why Haggerty's got to be a real threat, I would think,
Yeah.
in 3A.
well,
It's
and,
a
I, and
region
I'll be
region champ duels team last year. They were in Kissimmee, gave Wellington a battle to get to the finals. So I mean that they're a deep team, and I think to make top 10 in state, they just need a couple guys to just, as you said, Jason, perform better when they get on the big stage.
Yep, and I'll see those guys the morning before Thanksgiving. Bring your props. Let's have some fun. Media day, Haggerty.
All right, let's move to Region 2. Brant, we're going to go back around to you.
All right.
Lakewood Ranch Mustangs. Why Lakewood Ranch?
Well, let me tell you why Lakewood Ranch. This is a team that just 2 years ago won a district title last year, slipped to seventh. They've got some kids coming back, but um, one, Pat Anseal, the head coach, he's a Buckeye. But two, the other side of state from me, but it's a still OH thing. Um, but what he was telling me is they have Michael Schick in the room now. He's the assistant coach, and just him being in a room and just some of the things that Pat said to me, and that they have a long friendship and a connection, and Mike's daughter went to Lakewood Ranch, so I mean there's that connection there too. But he just said just the fact that getting Mike in there on the mat, rolling with these kids, teaching them things. Kids are lining up after practice to get extra time in, and Mike's going to give that to them. And so I think what you're going to see here, when you look at the roster, they only have 4 region qualifiers coming back, but they've got a lot of kids in the room. They've got people coming in from out of state, but they're all getting better because they're in that room with Mike, and they also have Werner, who's also a high level coach. They're working hard, and I think you'll start to see that payoff. We know when Mike, we know what he's capable of doing as a head coach or as a coach and how much he cares, and so I can see you have 2 Hall of Fame coaches in your room. You've got a bunch of kids that want to learn. I think it's just a good situation.
Well, and according to
Yeah.
your little capsule, they have quite a few transfers in from all over the place,
All
man.
over South Carolina, Texas, Michigan, few locals. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of kids in the room that are dedicated
Right.
and wanting to get better. But I said the coolest thing to me was like kids staying after practice to line up to get a chance to learn from Mike is pretty cool.
So I took Bloomingdale for the Region 2, and I guess they haven't gotten you much
I had
information.
no information from
No
Bloomingdale at this
information.
point.
So I'm kind of flying blind, but
Who they could have back.
based
Get
upon
your
who they could have
information
back, they
in.
obviously
Get your
graduated.
information in.
They obviously graduated Anthony Cabero, but they return a solid group. If those kids are back, indeed, they are in back. Really a solid group of juniors, including state qualifier for Brandon Lemke. A lot again. If you'll see a theme in the teams I picked because I like a lot of depth. I like kids who have had experience. Those 10 kids had experience. 5 of them got wins in regions last year. Getting a win at regionals when you're a sophomore, is a big deal because that can build upon itself and give you an opportunity to get into or punch your ticket to the state tournament. So that's why I took Bloomingdale. I think they have a real opportunity to kind of get better and build around that group of juniors that they have coming back. All right, Daniel, we're flipping it over to you and Eastlake.
Boom, Bloomingdale's an expensive place to shop. East Lake,
Is that still around?
yes,
I don't.
Because
Is it
I
still
know
around?
it was the anchor at the
yeah,
falls, but I don't know if it is Bloomingdale still a thing.
yeah. There's one up in Millennia.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, I could really date us, and we could say Burdines, but that was anyway.
Man,
East Lake Eagles.
Birdine's
Yeah.
rocked when it was the main
Bird-
anchor at Dadeland Mall. Boy,
oh,
you couldn't go through Dadeland without walking through Birdine's. And then
oh,
they'd be like
it's
spraying
awesome.
perfume at you, and you'd be
You mean dodging it?
puking like
Okay.
Deion Sanders, getting all the way
Yeah.
through the store.
Brant, you got pulled
Miami Beach.
into a
Miami.
tangent by Daniel.
Yes. All right. East Lake Eagles. Coach Rob Golombek. If I screwed that up, Coach, sorry. But he's got some great, so a young team, but the middle of the road kids were all regional qualifiers last year. A couple of them were blood round in the regions. So I feel like if those kids take that experience and they're able to pop a couple of those into the state tournament now, I think we could see East Lake make a little bit of a next level type push in their program. So I definitely like what they're doing. They've got a ton of new wrestlers that they've been able to bring into the room and really create some depth there. Um, so I think if they can get that solid group of kids that were all regional kids to be able to pop a few of them through that bubble, I think they're going to be good. I mean, 24-7 in a duels last year is pretty solid, very respectable, and I think they're going to be a dangerous out.
Brant, did you get a chance to talk to the Eastlake coach?
I've not talked to him. He did send me a lot of quotes in this preseason for him, and he just talked about just how he thinks this team will be stronger than last year. Last year was district runner up. As Dan said, they're 24/7 in duels. They started to kind of really compete in a lot of the things that they were at. Um, but they've just got a lot in the room, and they bought in, and I think that's going to be what's the key here.
Very cool. All right, let's move to Region 3. And you picked Toho.
I did, and again, recency bias. I talked to John just yesterday, um, but
I'll be there too.
yeah, and if you haven't seen it yet, go to my Instagram, Cobra Wrestling Instagram, and check out a clip from John Smorin talking yesterday about what wrestling has meant to him and how
Mhm.
important it is that he hopes his kids get that. But he's also a pretty good coach, and if you remember correctly, he was at Gateway.
He was.
Um,
Yep.
had at least one state champ, maybe two. I'm a little fuzzy, but some state finalists and really built a program and kind of took a step back from coaching for a bit and kind of refound that desire and want to and has built a good staff here. And this is a program where they have a bunch of seniors this year who are third-year wrestlers because John got there when they were sophomores and recruited some of these kids out of classrooms and brought them in. But I mean, they're deep. They've got a state placer coming back, state qualifier, or that's Brian Battles. Juan Hidalgo coming back. He made state qualifier last year. Valentino Benavides, Matthew Hohenshaw, just a lot of guys that have had success have been or even been close, and they've all bought in, and that's the thing that he wanted to see happen. And these are all kids that have been working. They've been going to camps. A lot of them went up to Iowa for a camp up there, and so he's expecting this year to be something special with this group of seniors and kind of the rebuild he's been doing there.
That's so cool. Well, I went down to I chose West Boca, and before I get into talking about West Boca, I think it's important. You shared with us yesterday, a couple days ago, that Sean Sheldon is now confirmed as the coach at West Boca. And I'll tell you what, guys, if you um, I'm blown away. I mean, we talked to Zach Sherman earlier on earlier in this episode. Pat Lugo, the quality Duck taking over at South Dade, the quality of coaching in South Florida, and you add Sean Sheldon. I mean, if you don't know who Sean Sheldon is, for those of you that are younger, go watch Sean Sheldon compete, man. Um, he has an opportunity. He has I mean, I think it was 13 of 14 kids weight classes that competed in the postseason last year are back.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to love the fact 11 of them competed at regionals. You had Arthur Mercado, Daniel Dam. They were the closest to punching their ticket. West Boca did not have a state qualifier a year ago, but I'm telling you what, you put the combination of Sean Sheldon with a group of kids like you were talking about Lakewood Ranch who are hungry, they're interest, they want to be there and everything else. West Boca is definitely a team that you should keep an eye on in 2025, 2026.
Hey, and the great words of the Nebraska head coach, Google his name.
They
You will
this
find
this is a
out.
this is a program that finished seventh, and eighth the last 3 years that they even competed in the postseason, and that was 2022 was the most recent before last year, and they finished second in their district last year. And Daniel Dam, he had a lot of big wins last year. He did come one match short of reaching state, but that's a name to watch. But you can just sense that this program's on the up and up. And when you have Sheldon teaching you or coaching you, obviously you're going to have they're
Absolutely.
going to be better this year.
So, Daniel, we're going to switch to you for Region 3. And we typically spend our time in talking about the girls' program at Orlando Freedom. But, the boys' program has had some absolute individuals, great individuals over the last few years and everything else. Why did you pick Orlando Freedom?
I just love the direction they're going. Obviously, the Bush brothers, we know what they're capable of, and we know they've been locked in for a long time. The girls' program has been on a very high level, not just in our state, but in our country. And slowly, you've been seeing that being done on the boys' side. They've added some great coaches in McIntyre and Grant and Jean Baptiste and Mincer. They're starting to get kids that wrestled for them,
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 years, 6 years ago that were really tough in the program. And we saw the program being in the top 10 back then. And I think they're heading back in that right direction. I think you saw a few state qualifiers last year. You saw a lot of regional qualifiers, and I think they've got some young men that are ready to jump to the next level. And I think with a coaching duel like that, I mean, those brothers are unbelievable. And with them focused in and we're starting to see their wrestlers come back and lead in that room, which gives them ability to send these boys out to wrestle in more spaces. It's great to watch.
Yeah, well, and one of the things I want to make sure that we point out is that Region 3 is a region that feels like it has a lot of opportunity for these programs that we just mentioned because I don't want to point out specific programs, within Region 3, but it feels like the door is open. It has been closed for a long time, but these programs definitely have the core and the ability to kind of make some noise. Brant, you were shaking your head. Yes, without. I mean, do you kind of agree in kind of my assessment there?
I do. We obviously the one program you're probably mentioning is Osceola, and Jim
Right.
Bird left, and then Coach Tribbett has left, and we'll see how they come back. Harmony has a few holes in their lineup this year.
Yeah.
Vieira, who's turned into a great 3A program, graduated a lot of seniors, so that's a program still deep, or is deep now, but I mean it's deep and has kids come up, but it'll be taking a step back. Wellington, I think, is the class of maybe this region coming into
Yep.
this year. I'm talking to Travis tomorrow. I'm excited to learn more about them. But I think there are some spots. I think Region 3 has gotten just exponentially tougher just the last couple of years because uh, Osceola wasn't in it 3 years ago. None of the Orlando schools were in it.
Right.
They were all in two. They come in, they bring in this depth. You bring Vieira in, And then you have teams in 3A12, like you said, like you had West Boca and you have Wellington. You have teams. Jupiter is consistently good. They're just getting better, and you're seeing this on the state level where a lot of times 3A3 was one of those ones where didn't take home a lot of medals, and it was noticeable. But that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing for me is, and that's, I mean, Osceola might flip right into gear and go, and Vieira might fill those those graduations with
Yeah.
stud kids, and they might be right back. But it's one of those situations where over the last few several years, you've had specific programs that were you kind of felt like they were going to be at the very top, regardless of what happened. And it feels like, I don't know, the rise of the programs we just mentioned, kind of makes it fun to kind of look at what's going to happen in 3A or in Region 3. So, all
I
right.
too,
So,
I too will see Mr. Gray tomorrow because I have media
Wow.
day
So
at
I'll
Wellington.
talk to him
well,
before
you
that.
know what, Coach Gray, you give me a call. If you want to make it like,
Make it
talk to all three of us,
trio.
you can do that.
I
Um,
too.
so yesterday, Daniel was at Miami Palmetto.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is the old stomping grounds of Brant Parsons,
My
who
alma
is going
mater.
to
Hail to
talk about
thee.
Palmetto. But before we get to your Palmetto, Brant, Daniel, how was it? How was it at Palmetto taking pictures with them?
It is always amazing. They are one of the original 10 that hired me the first time I did media days. And so it's super cool to see, the three names that jump out at me is the Bonnie twins and Isis. They've been there since I started this, and they are an awesome core, and they're definitely going to be missing that program. But Coach Fidel and his Hall of Fame counterpart, it's always fun to be there and hang out, and they're always very welcoming and they're always fun, and they're great for media day because they've got those baby blue and dark blue colors. So you can send in some blue smoke and you can create some cool effects. Um, so I do love, like today, I go to Christopher Columbus. They've got the similar colors. So it really pops.
Very
But
cool.
yeah, Anthony's always been a huge uh, fan and has always welcomed me in. And I appreciate all the support from Miami Palmetto and Brant's alma mater,
Yes.
which
Hail to thee.
uh,
Well,
not to blow any secrets, but someone's going to be talking about my alma mater next.
so 3A Region 4 is, it's difficult because, there were so many teams that we can't talk about. I mean, South Dade, we can't talk about. We can't talk about Southwest. We're not talking about Columbus. We're not talking about Southridge. These are all teams that were in the top 10. We're
Yeah.
not having those conversations, but that doesn't mean the conversations we're going to have right now. I mean, these teams are absolutely solid. They just happen to be in the toughest region in the state, in my opinion. Palmetto High School, Miami Palmetto High School, Brant. Why them? I mean, obviously the Bonnie twins, but beyond
Not
that.
not just the toughest region, toughest district. I mean, you look at Palmetto; they got a state champ. They had a third place finisher, a sixth place finisher last year. They're fourth in their district.
Right.
With a team, and listen, I have a second team. So if anybody thinks it's just a homerism thing, Palmetto has a long history of wrestling. If you go back early 70s state champ,
Yep.
if you watch Pin Kings, that's about some wrestling state champs at Palmetto. They won a couple, I think one or two state titles then. This was a team in the 90s under David Soderholm that won a
Yep.
state title when Brandon was with the powerhouse. I went to high school with Rowan Gardner. He ran cross country with me his senior year. Uh,
He ran
he's a
cross
state
country.
champ. He
I
did.
was just thinking the same
He
thing.
came out.
He ran cross country.
I've been meaning to do like a podcast with him, and he may still do it. His junior year, he finished second or third, and didn't feel he had the gas tank, and so his senior year, he came out and ran cross country with us, to get ready for wrestling. Did solely for wrestling. Then he went out and won a state title. Orville Gardner, his brother, of course, NCAA champ, went to Palmetto. But this is a team that you have the Bonnie brothers, you have the Jackson brothers. Uh, I think some of these other guys are coming back. I don't have complete. I didn't get a complete form from Anthony, but I'll text him later and bug him. Matthew Paget's coming back. Alexander Urbina.
Mhm.
It is, and they finally got their Anthony's first state title under him, and it is the first state title, I think, like 2002 last year, when Connor won it. He wants to become the first. This is a crazy stat. The first Palmetto wrestler to have two state champions. They've never had a wrestler go double. Um, Jared
Really?
Bystrong is another one I went to high school with,
Huh.
and won in '91. But they've never had a two-time state champ. He's trying to accomplish that this year. It's so hard when it's hard just to get out of your district, and then you throw in 3A 15 and some teams from 14 and 13. I mean, 3A 4, and Dan will bring that up. But so as much as I'd love to just stay here and just praise my high school, just in case anyone says I'm doing favoritism, this is a team that won't be top 10. This is a team that may not even have a state qualifier, but this is a program. This is a high school with obviously the most history in Miami senior. Some great people have gone, great athletes. It was a basketball program in the 80s and 90s and everything. And it was a wrestling program that just hadn't done anything for a while. And they got some former wrestlers to come in. I got a chance to talk to Johnny Morales, who's one of the assistants there, and just his energy made me want to go and suit up and lose 8 pounds in an hour and a half. But they've got Leonardo Mendoza coming back. He made the blood round last year. Miguel Arredondo, another guy. If you'll see their names, they beat people last year. They're capable of beating people in Macon State. I'm excited about what's going on at Miami High. It is a historic high school. I want them to be good at sports. I'm glad wrestling is back there. They hadn't competed since 2020 in the postseason before last year. Again, this isn't a team that's going to win its district, and it may not be top 3 or 4, but they're developing a program and bringing wrestling back to the Stingrays, and I like that.
Very cool. Well, I'm gonna go to Miami Beach.
Go High
And
Tides.
Yeah, this is the alma mater show.
Go High Tides.
um, and obviously, the Russian, they're not twins, they're brothers, right?
They are brothers, senior.
The Zabrilovs, is that how you say it? Zabrilovs?
Zabrilov, yeah, I think that's right. Adlin and Emron. I mean, like, if you've watched them wrestle or compete, you know how good they are. They are fantastic. Obviously qualified and placed at the state tournament a year ago. But for me, Miami Beach, they were hit hard by graduation, but it's not just them. Really look down in a tough region to have a Lawan Ingram and a Leonardo Rodriguez go and win matches at the region tournament. That tells you that they're ready to take that next step. They're ready to punch their ticket to the state tournament. Miami Beach, like we've already talked about, it's a tough region. It's going to be tough sledding for any new wrestlers and those sorts of things. But if I had a core of kids that were like the kids that are in the room at Miami Beach, I would feel very confident that we're going to be competitive when we go out and compete. So,
and they've got some freshmen coming in that were Miami-Dade middle school champs, and
yeah,
that carries something down there. So,
absolutely. All right, Daniel.
South Broward. South Broward. Listen, very tough squad. They've got the Kirianenkas coming back. They've got a number of regional qualifiers that if they can pop out of there and get that. But, they were 23-7 last year. They had a state champion in Ilya. And Ivan, the younger one, I mean, to give you an idea of how hard this region is, he was 46-2, and he lost in the regional qualifier blood round. In his bracket, Zabalov, Campion, Smith, Solis. To give you an idea of the bracket he had to go through in the region to try to make it a state, which tells you why he wasn't there. But this kid is tough. And if they can get both brothers to the state tournament and have somebody else jump in there, I think they've got a real chance. But they're doing good things down there. Major Trekeld is in his 6th season, and I think we're going to see a bright future with South Broward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember,
Well,
those
and
two brothers showed up from the Ukraine and had never
yeah,
wrestled
man.
folk style before like August of last year.
They also showed
Uh,
up in Fargo for everybody who didn't know.
yeah,
Yes,
yes, they did.
they did show up in Fargo, and they had a good run there.
And hopefully Ivan doesn't face the likes of a Dylan Smith and a Tomas Campion in the region. That region draw was one of the hardest I've ever seen.
Yeah, no
Nearly
doubt.
pulled it off, but did not.
All right. So that is Region 4 or that is 3A for us. Um, and you know what? It's been a lot of fun talking about programs that,
Yeah.
you know, we may or may not talk about this during the course of the year. We'll definitely talk about some of the individuals on some of these programs. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed the last 4 weeks. We've had a really good time trying to
I feel
dig
like you guys
into
have
kind of.
learned more these back. I feel like I've been able to turn you guys on to some more teams and information in this.
Yes, it's been
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's been great. You know, it's one of those things that you know, I would pick out like Dan said actually earlier on. I would pick out a team, and Brant would like, well, they graduated a lot here, you know, and
Yes.
so it was a good conversation over the last 4 weeks and talking about kind of these other teams. And man, I'll tell you what, things are coming fast and furious. It is November 10th for your previews. I'm going to try to do
Yeah.
some previews as well. We have tons of stuff. I'll tell you what, guys, we have been afforded the opportunity to see the background or of these capsules because Brant's been sharing them with us so that we can do the shows. And there's just tons of information. And again, like we talked about with Zach, it's so important to just promote the sport all across
Yep.
all across the state. So and throughout the
Agreed.
Southeast. You
I gotta
guys,
go.
Yep.
last note. Yeah, you got to go. I know. Brant, any last words?
Dan's got to go. So
No, no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
peace.
Peace.
Just keep the hat.
Stop.